Hello, 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 you guys. It's me, Dr. Torie, coming again with another episode of Be Victorious. I was told not to keep singing because you know how I get to singing, y'all, and I get high pitch and soprano, alto, tenor, and all that. And I want you all to understand that this podcast here is going to be good. Of course, it's mental health Awareness Month. But this young man is doing some wonderful things in the Detroit community, and I am excited to have him here. Mr. Charlie, doing Mr. Charlie, where are you?
Hello, I am here.
Yay! Hello, Andre. How are you?
I am awesome. How are you doing today, Doctor?
I'll be totally honest, I'm blessed. I cannot complain. We serve an awesome God. And the fact that
Amen.
we serve a wonderful God, it's my pleasure and honor to actually meet you. I don't think that anything happens by accident. I think that everything happens by purpose. And I was
Amen.
scrolling on Facebook and I saw some things that you were doing in the Detroit community. Shout out to one of my closest people. He actually has a podcast. I podcast with him often too. He won teacher of the region in Detroit, so I'll definitely introduce you to him. His name is Calvin. He has a podcast as well. So as I'm scrolling
Awesome.
your information, and I'm like, oh, okay. So you got some things going on in Detroit that we need to know about.
Yes. I'm excited.
I'm excited about it too. So tell us about you. Before we do that, did you take the ACEs quiz?
I did take the ACEs quiz.
What's your ACEs score?
5.
Okay, welcome to the five club. Let's be clear. And I think
Absolutely.
what I've been doing and what people understand is that your ACEs score, of course, doesn't define you. You
Right.
already know because you're a well of aces, thank the Lord, that now it's 1 and 3 that have an ACEs score. Once upon
hmm
a time, it was 1 and 6, but now the 1 and 6 is it's 1 and 6 that have an ACEs score of 4 or more.
Right.
So we're not defining our ACEs score at all. What we're
No.
doing is understanding ACEs and understanding how much of an impact it has on us. And once I educate them, then I'm going to send them to you because you're the therapist. Let's be clear.
Absolutely. That'll work. And let's work
Okay,
through those ACEs,
because
the
that's
effects
what we
of it and
need
everything.
to do. So tell us more about your practice. What do you specialize in?
All right. So I have a specialty here that pretty much encompasses a wide variety from male to female, but it is trauma, anxiety, depression. So all of those things that I can support in your behavioral health, everything across the gamut, except for heavy psychosis that needs to be supported with a psychiatrist.
Mhm.
However, something like ADHD or anxiety to a degree is I'm here and equipped and ready to help. So I'm trauma informed in everything. So I
Right.
am available to work with anybody.
Now you hit close to home to me because I was born in Kansas City but raised in Chicago. So, I know about Detroit very, 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 very well. Is that the only state that you specialize just in um
Yeah, licensed in Michigan
okay.
and looking to be licensed in other states. My first one on my list is Illinois. So
That's because good and well we need you over there in Illinois. I think the
uh,
thing that I love about ACEs is the fact that there have been updates. The updates happened June 29 of 2023, and it include things that our communities are familiar with, like
right.
community violence,
Right.
bullying.
Absolutely.
So these are the things that I am taking my time out to actually educate everybody when I'm here by the grace of God. I left education and I've been doing this, and I'm telling you, it is working and it is amazing. I love our ACEs community because there are people out there that are really understanding and really doing something about it. And so we have
Yeah.
people like you who you already have. What I like is the fact that you put the emphasis on males. You put the emphasis on mental health. So again, I know that you are heavy into mental health and you're heavy into therapy. But what's your motivation? What drove you to this?
All right. So, interesting. I've always wanted to help. I wanted to help as a young person, but I thought I would go in the music education route. So I was going to be a music teacher because that's kind of how I was helped through music, and my music teacher is what helped me kind of overcome some of the things that I have faced in my life, ACEs scores. And so I was going to do that. And then I realized when I got into the education program, it maybe was close to what I wanted, but not quite what I wanted. And I started exploring other areas. So I got into social work that way. And I started to learn that you can be a social worker and you can be what we call a psychotherapist with proper training. And I started going on that route, not knowing that I would actually love it. So I did do school social work for 17 years and worked with families and individuals privately, part-time, in home therapy, as well as in the office. And then I moved into full-time therapy, leaving the school system about 3 years ago after 17 years of working in that system to provide more support to individuals that were in need, in particular Black males, which spiked during COVID for my caseload.
Interesting. I knew we had a bond. So you're a fellow educator. Yeah.
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 Yes, school social work for 17 years.
I mean, oh my God, do they need social work so bad in the school? So you really know about ACEs. This is not nothing we're coming up. This isn't new. You know about ACEs for real.
Yes, yes, yes.
To see the fact, did you work with elementary, middle, high?
K-12 primarily was middle and alternative high school, but mostly higher ed. Higher elementary 3 through 5 if I did elementary. So, but I've
Okay.
done K-12.
And you know what? Me too.
Yeah.
I think my awareness peaked when I switched. I was high school forever. And then I switched from high school to elementary. And I think that's when it peaked for me. Like, yeah, we got to do something about this real bad because if we can address
Yes,
it elementary, then they won't be in my classroom, high school, talking about their ACEs then.
absolutely.
And so they were in your office for 17 years. All right.
Exactly.
And I think that's what people don't understand and don't, from the educational standpoint, you all, we can actually do something about it if we know about it in advance. And we have
Yes.
people like you that can say, okay, look, these are the steps that need to happen, especially the fact that you know about ACEs and you know how much it could help. We
Right. And how it
have
impacts us and how it can be an educational tool and intervention so that we can lower our kids' ACEs scores for generations to it can be zero if
mm,
we know what we're doing.
mm. And see, that's why I always call the experts on here because he said it, not me, even though I've said it episode after episode. Because again, we know we are sitting in the front line, we've seen it. And for me, I actually did a lot of changes after COVID too. I ended up leaving Chicago and I've been in Dallas right in the middle of COVID. So trust me, I get it. And the
Yeah.
fact that we came back into education
Mhm.
when 2 years of nothing. And now we have this generation, and people are like, oh my God, what is going on? Do you all not know how much COVID had an impact? They're sitting
Absolutely
at home
right.
with the
And some didn't make them get on the computer.
interesting. And that's what people don't understand and know. So for those kids that have dropped out of school,
Mhm. Yeah.
but again, I digress. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what's going on. I'm just here.
They
But
said the impacts, how even ACEs increased during those moments of COVID because they were in that environment and everyone was pressured and stressed and all the things not knowing what to do. So more of our personalities and more of our shortcomings, more of our attitudes, more of our anger, all of that sparked in households that some never even saw that before, but
Mhm.
was confined together so long, and that also increased some ACEs scores.
Mm, which is the reason why I honestly truly believe that's why the CDC made updates. Because from my perspective, I talked about ACEs, it was my dissertation. And so
Mm.
all the recommendations of we need to address bullying, we need to address community violence, all of this came because I did my study in Chicago. So
Oh,
community
nice.
violence, of course, like I said, I was in Chicago. I'm sitting as a teacher, and I want to say on an average of 3 students a year died. And
Wow.
so year after year after year after year.
Yeah.
So then when COVID came, shout out to the class of 2020 at that time,
Right.
my students in the Be Victorious Foundation are graduating from college.
Yes, they
They didn't
are.
get that, they didn't get that walk across the stage in 2020. So
They
this
did
is their
not.
first year actually getting that opportunity. So I'm telling them, make it a big deal. You all are graduating from
You're man,
college.
you're echoing a session I just had 3 hours ago because one of my students or clients is graduating tomorrow
Mhm,
who did not get his graduation in 2020
mhm,
and doesn't even know what to feel because he is so excited that this is his first time going to walk across that stage as a graduate from a higher ed institution.
mhm.
Yeah.
Look at that. And this is the reason why we're having this conversation, you guys, because again, ACEs has an impact. And we can really do something about it if we understand it. See,
Mhm.
that young man has you, but I loved how you switched it. You said student. Yeah, he was your student. I know he was, but he kept up with you because there was something about you that made him stay, that
Mhm.
motivated him, that probably pushed him to where he is today. So thank you,
Mhm.
because
Thank
that's the reality of the situation. Let's be
you.
clear.
Yes.
So let me ask you another personal question. So you talked about the fact that there was a musical teacher that helped you.
Yes.
Full circle moment, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Was your ACEs, was you were a 5, so I'm going to assume household dysfunction, abuse, neglect.
So abuse. Well, so it was functioning at a certain level, not necessarily the best level. But
Okay.
yeah. Mhm.
But nonetheless, it's an ACE.
Yes,
Well,
absolutely.
another personal question. Parents or parent?
Very interesting. So mom passed when I was 6.
ACE.
So then with father and then girlfriend who was not as intelligent as she should be,
Mhm.
which caused ACEs. So that was another area.
Mhm.
Then my father passed when I was 15
Double ACE.
and moved into a situation with my aunt and uncle. So, there were other ACEs scores that happened too because of abuse of other family members as well. So, those scores continue to rise.
But yet we understand and we did something about it. And
Absolutely.
you were driven into education because of that. Your
Hmm.
mentor was the musical teacher.
Yes. Yes.
You. It was you because you are
Mhm.
that mentor to the kids that are your clients.
Yes.
Uh-huh. So what I love about my podcast is I find out commonalities with the wonderful people I meet.
Yeah.
Again, I told you what my agenda was, but here it is.
Yes.
We have a commonality of being an educator who has ACEs, who still relates with their students, who still talk to
Mhm.
their students, and is here to change the world and continue to educate people about mental
Absolutely.
health.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's necessary. It's my calling. It's my purpose.
And that's the reason why you are here. So I got another question. What's up with our Black
Yes.
males? What's going on and why can't they go
Why can't they what?
to therapy?
So, I just wanted to make sure I heard it right.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
it's a challenge. We so for Black men, first
Mhm.
of all, if we're going to go to therapy, we got to be able to know that we can go to somebody we trust. And we don't trust easy. So therefore, I'm typically going to look for a Black male, but we're only 1%.
Mhm.
So if I only see one Black male therapist in the state and he's 3 hours away, I just may not even try because I don't want to talk on the computer.
Right.
I'm going to go in. So there are some people that actually will talk to a female, but
Mhm.
still be reserved,
Mhm.
or they may be more comfortable with a
Right.
female. So it just depends. But overall, we don't realize or recognize that we have some shortcomings and things that are going on, and the way we function is not healthy in some areas, and we don't know how detrimental it is. So it's because it's our norm. So
Mhm.
therefore, we don't necessarily go to therapy, and we think therapy is for crazy people.
Mhm.
Not at all.
Right.
But there we have myths, and we don't trust, and we're not lit the system,
Mhm.
any of that. And I just dug it out. I do what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, I
I
smoke,
bet
I
they
drink, I
love
do
you.
all kind of stuff.
I know your clients love you because you're authentic.
Man,
Tell you
we have a
why.
ball.
And I'm gonna tell you why. Because what I saw was the fact that you were able to get a symposium in Detroit. You smiling
My
about it,
God.
be proud of yourself. Because it's not
Yes.
easy to get men in a room together at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump to the chase because, of course, I got plenty of stuff to talk about. Tell us about this symposium.
Well, it was on my heart, and I know it was God that made me do this because I always wanted to do it, but I should say it was God that said it was now.
Mhm,
Now was the time.
mhm,
And I stayed very prayerful.
mhm.
And I didn't know exactly which way to go and which route I wanted to be. So I just started calling things out. Like, God, I want to have it at the university. I want to have it in the middle of the city so that I could pull for all the corners. I need a couple of big names, God, and I'm still waiting on my second one. I need to be able, because guys need to be able to come and something has to draw them in and not just coming to hear somebody talk about mental health.
Right.
So I was definitely very prayerful. So it's designed to actually speak to our identity, to
Mhm,
talk about our struggles, and then also to empower us. So I have some things put in place where I have a variety of speakers and panel discussions. And I have soul food dinner on Friday night, and I'm gonna have a couple of spoken words. I got a guy, one of my guys, he's a rapper, gonna come in, be able to do some things, get some giveaways, have some door prizes, just things that we need in the community is very important to us that we can relate to. I want to bring it to this conference, to this symposium over a 2-day period at the Wayne State University here in the city on July 12th and 13th. So that was something I had to put in place this year, and I put it all in place before I even had Mr. Hill Harper being my keynote. And I just asked God to deliver somebody to me that I can do. I was at an event. Hill Harper was there. It was a sneaker ball. Like, Mr. Hill Harper, how you doing? And I had to end because I took a couple of mentor groups. I took one from school, and my mentor I was telling you about, we go to church together.
Mhm.
We took a mentor group from church. He authorized us to pay for about 50 books. He taught to the kids, signed the books. So I was able to bring that back to his memories and offer him the opportunity to come, really our opportunity, but offer him the opportunity to come to be the keynote. And he said, absolutely, let's do it.
I'm so
I
proud
said,
of
I'm doing the Male Mental Health Conference for us in the city of Detroit. Will you be my keynote? He said, absolutely, let's do it.
you. Congratulations. And that's what I,
Thank you.
because anytime you have an event, a 2-day event,
Mhm.
I'm proud. Like I'm proud. Like whoa, I'm really proud on the fact that as an educator, as a mentor, all the stuff that I've already said that we just uncovered here. Because again, I've already told my guests, yeah, we met, we've gotten to know each other, but we've gotten to know each other today.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
what our God, we serve an awesome God. He will bring our people together. Yes, He will. Because I'm interested in coming so I can educate people on ACEs. And so
Yes. Absolutely.
I'm all for it. I think it's a great idea. I don't want to interrupt the flow. I'll be a vendor. I sign up as a host. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is because
Hey.
again, the opportunity to continue to educate others on ACEs, you have that opportunity. You're at Wayne State University.
By the blessings of
You
God, I'm
gotta, you
telling you.
gotta look at everything from this standpoint
Yes.
and continue to keep doing what you're doing. Your purpose is your purpose, and your purpose is powerful. And once
Right.
people see that, then more people will come. And even if it's 3 people that come, that's 3 people that are there.
That start with absolutely. Their lives are gonna be changed.
But I'm telling you, if I found you, other people will find you as well. My podcast people know I'm good at finding people. Good.
Well, you definitely found me, and
I
you
did.
better believe you will be on that stage. You're gonna have a table too, but you will be on that stage for some period of time,
And I'm just telling
saying,
you because why not? This is
well,
what
absolutely,
supposed to do. And
yeah,
at the end of the day, all of those people are going to be impacted. I like Hill Harper. He's amazing, but he's always advocated. So congratulations
right,
on getting somebody that people are actually going to listen to because he's not
exactly,
here doing anything different. He's actually out here serving his purpose and he loves
right.
to work with the community. So congratulations to you,
Thank
seriously.
you. I'm excited. The day is going. I have secured a young lady who's done some research. Her actual dissertation is on how prison guards, the COs, are impacted and affected by the system, and how that impacts how they treat the inmates or those people that are incarcerated. I have that set up. I have we're gonna have a panel discussion with Black Love, talking about marriages and how that looks and how we interact with families. Have actually segmented out female and male only panel discussions for the last part of the day so that we can spend some time women talking to women about issues that may impact their relationships and men talking to men about how we show up in our relationships, be it friendships, romantic, whatever. So we're trying to really dig into a lot of things that's going to make a positive impact on us and change the trajectory of our lives in those 2 days.
And I believe it. And I'm going to be there to witness it. I'm telling you now. And I'm telling you, whatever promotion, whatever it is, that's just me. That's just how I am because I believe in it, in what you are doing. Absolutely. That's not even
Wow.
a discussion. Because we, again, to do that, you have to think about it. Your symposium can help so many people understand ACEs. So even when you
Yes.
break it down and you put the men together, and we're talking about men and relationships, people don't understand. If you understand ACEs, then you'll understand and know that if you don't understand ACEs, it can have an effect on your relationship. That's just like people
Absolutely.
that don't understand that ACEs can actually have an effect on your health if you don't understand
If
ACEs.
you don't
And
understand
so
ACEs,
this is
it,
the
it's a, I had. because I did this Men Empowered event at our church last year, and one of the guys' aces was like 8, and the question was asking, you know, are you bothered by any of this? Does this impact you any kind of way? He's like, no, I'm good.
Hmm.
So yeah, there's a lot of things on there. A couple people died that should be seemingly close to you. You've been abused sexually, and all these things. You're not necessarily aware of some of the things and how it impacts you, but I bet you everyone you interact with knows that it impacts you.
Exactly. And I think that's the reason why what I learned. I do lunch and learns on Thursdays. And what
Mhm.
I learned, this one that I just did, which was so cool, is the people from the podcast are coming back and they're there, and they are experts like you. They are people that have their aces, and we understand our aces, and we're doing something about it. So you have
Right.
people like you that are saying, okay, yeah, my aces score is a 5, however, or yeah, my aces score is a 5, and I fall in the abuse category, however, this is what I'm doing. So like
Exactly.
I'll tell you, I had a young lady, she's a therapist. She did her story, she said her thing, and now she has her own practice. We talked about it. And to see that she finally actually has her own practice, not just in Illinois,
Yes.
but where she lives, is just me showing testimony of people and understanding. Y'all, ACEs is okay. It really is. Having an ACEs score, there's nothing wrong with it. Once you understand it and can do something about it, that's where your next steps will be. And the next steps will be me introducing them to people like you, because
Amen.
I'm the educator. You know what I mean? Like, let's be clear. I can give you a class on ACEs real good. I can set
Oh,
you up, but I don't want to be a therapist. That's not what I wanted to do. I actually
right,
really like educating really down after going through the study, after watching my students, after doing all of this, understanding and knowing. But the key for me is the fact that I linked ACEs to extracurricular activity.
right. Because
And
it's there. It cuts across everything.
it does. It does. And what I loved is that the CDC put it on top now. So it's like, how can you address ACEs? And then it's a big
Right.
old extracurricular activity. I'm not saying it was me. What I'm saying is my dissertation said these were recommendations and what should happen. And here it is. The CDC made some updates, and here we are.
Big ups, Hey, we can just plant seed and make sure it gets watered.
You see what I'm saying? Because
You
at the
know?
end of the day, we're out here by the grace of God. You did the same thing I did. I just did not return to school this school year because I felt the need to continue to do this. And we serve
Mhm.
an amazing God. That's all I'm saying.
Right. It's so amazing.
It sounds similar. You know what I mean? Because again,
Mhm.
you left and here you are. You have your own practice. Congratulations.
Hey, man, right. It was
It
all
didn't
God. I
go
was in
away.
the district.
Right, right. But see, what people don't understand is when you're teaching, we got one contract.
Hmm.
That's just like mentorship. Mentorship for me um fell with the job responsibility.
Right.
So when I left, it was like, but Dr. Williams, I still need, I want this and this. Hence
Mhm.
the Be Victorious Foundation that is going so well. So well. It's a mentorship program, but I made sure that that mentorship program focuses and addresses ACEs because, again, I'm tired of people not.
Right. Right. Not addressing it. Not addressing it is doing a disservice because what are you addressing if you're not?
Exactly. And what is the issue with not addressing it? And I love saying childhood trauma. I do. Childhood trauma, childhood trauma, childhood trauma.
Because it's childhood trauma. And the thing is, we don't realize we have normalized what trauma is, and especially in our family and our households, people of color have been just making it, and we are able to overcome, and we're able to, survive a lot, and we're forgiving people, and everything is, in the house is our business, and you don't take it out. So then you grow up with all these things instilled inside of you. But yet, what happens is I go off so easy. I
Mhm.
can't handle my emotions. I don't know what um to say when I am frustrated. So I have a whole tantrum, but it looks different. Doesn't look like the 7-year-old per se, but it really does look like the 7-year-old kicking and screaming on the floor, even though you're 40,
Mm.
because your behavior and your actions show that you have not worked through any other issues or majority of the issues that you may have faced, which could be considered childhood trauma, because
Yep.
everything is normalized, but it's not okay. It is not your fault what happened to you, but always say it's your responsibility to deal with it. And
Exactly.
everyone else are casualties of war because you won't deal with your behavior.
Mm.
We got to talk.
Mm. You just unpacked a bunch, but it's the truth.
Yeah,
You
we got
can
to
do
talk.
something about it. You really can. And I tell people
Absolutely.
all the time, what happened to you isn't your fault. It isn't. And I always tell people, I don't tell my parents' story because I don't. I don't. I tell my story and the impact that it had on me. Or I share
Absolutely.
it as a parent because I have 3 girls who I love so much, but they understand ACEs. I had to because
Right.
I want them to understand.
Educate.
Exactly. So what these little loves do is go and educate at their school. So I got mentees here, or best friends of their friends here
Right.
because they get it. So now they're
Hmm.
them the little therapist at school. Oh my
Right.
God, my friend came to talk to me. Well, guess what? This is happening, you guys, and it's
Right.
not enough social workers at the school that can do
It's,
that.
it's amazing how when you have awareness, what kind of impact you can have.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a healthy response and it looks disrespectful because people aren't used to healthy responses.
Mm.
But when you understand ACEs and how you have to navigate certain areas because you've done the work, then you also know that, oh, wow, we were raised that was disrespectful. However, it's actually called boundaries. And the people that were upset most about people getting healthy boundaries are the people that benefited by from you not having healthy boundaries. So then it's like, whoa. So what do you do with that? You teach, you learn yourself, you learn how the trauma impacts you and how to have healthy responses to that and how to actually engage with other people in a different way so that you're not disrespectful to others, and you're also true to yourself and you know how you're operating. So you have limits and boundaries, and you know when to step away because you may become overwhelmed and you may not be able to handle that area.
Mm-hmm.
So then you just step back until you're strong enough in that area.
Or shall we say, you know how to identify your triggers.
Those triggers.
Mm-hmm.
Those triggers, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But however, some people identify their triggers and just excuse the fact that they have triggers.
Mm.
Having a discussion with a brother who was like, "Yeah, I mean, I go off on her, but she know I got stuff. I don't, so
Right.
that's not okay though.
Exactly.
It's
Yes.
not all right. She's now become a casualty of war of you because you have blasted off at her from other things that she had nothing to do with
Mm-hmm.
because you didn't understand how things impact you,
Mm-hmm.
and that could be
I think
childhood trauma or not.
exactly. I think laugh at me if you want, but ACEs quiz should be given everywhere, not just in
Oh,
schools, in
absolutely.
in the sisterhood circles, in
Hmm.
and I will share what I love about talking about or talking to therapists is a lot of therapists use that in their intake.
Oh yeah, because we need to know. We need to know what we're sitting through, what we're going to have to deal with, and how it's impacting you because that's how you show up.
Mhm,
That's how you show up at work. That's
mhm,
how you show up at church. That's
mhm,
how you show up at the girls' club. You
mm,
take the kids to the YMCA.
mhm,
The parent, another parent irritates you. Your aces show up in the parking lot at the grocery store. Somebody took your parking spot. Your aces show up. They took your basket. You wanted to go try something on, and the girl grabbed the only size of the dress when you was there. Your boy grabbed your last blunt. Whatever, take your pick.
Exactly.
You felt disrespected, disregarded, and left out, forgotten about, and all that. But all you know is anger, but you don't know to use the words because guess what? There was no words used in our households. You just got beat. Make somebody mad, you get hit.
Come
You
on.
get lectured, punished, and beat down.
Which you're getting lectured can be seen as emotional neglect. The physical neglect comes in when you get the put in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I love doing, breaking it down so people can understand that it's not okay for real.
Right.
How you said your friend said, I mean, I be yelling at her. I love my father to death, I do. But that was his way of communicating.
Yeah.
Yelled. So when I think about it and I look at the ACEs score, and that's what I tell people, depending on the day or the time or when I'm talking, I can go from a 4 to a 5 quick.
Exactly. I'm telling you, I tell people, if I'm not careful, it depends on what you say and which me you talking to. I'm not that far removed. I'm just more aware and have to do more work, but it just depends on if you catch me off guard, you might catch the wrong person.
Exactly. And this is the conversation that I had with Professor Stu, episode 40, the episode that I premiered Tuesday. That's what we talked about. He said, okay, let's dive in. And that's what we did. Found out, like you said, he works with children. He's an educator. He does his thing. He talked about everything until we actually got in, and he started talking about. So, as a parent, I'm doing something wrong. I said, yeah, and he admitted it. The parents are the bullies. It really depends. It depends because we don't want to listen to what our kids have to say. Girl, go sit down somewhere. Go
You're to be
down.
seen and not heard. Kids should not be talking. And one of the kids told me in one of my mentor groups, she said, I'll never forget it. We were talking about something and we were talking about households, and she said, well, Mr. Charley, it's different. You couldn't say anything. You had to sit down and shut up and couldn't be nothing. We get to express ourselves. And I was like, well, some of you do, and some of you have to learn how to express yourselves, but expressing yourselves is very important because we couldn't. We got shut down for everything. Whatever we thought had to stay behind our lips, and they better not feel like we was thinking something too hard.
Mm-hmm. You better sit down and stay in the grown folks' place.
Just don't. You better excuse yourself too.
Mm-hmm. You see me.
You don't have an opinion.
You don't sit down and go somewhere. Yeah, that's what we grew up with.
Yeah. You don't have an opinion. You're too young for anything, and don't even say you upset about nothing or bother or anything because they're gonna give you something to be bothered or upset about.
And that's us.
I feel no, you ain't got no feelings.
Exactly.
I tell you what to feel.
So there it again, parents. I'm not trying to be on us because I'm a parent too. I'm just trying to get you all to understand that ACEs is real. ACEs is out here. ACEs can be addressed. ACEs can be educated. And once you understand ACEs, then you can meet people like Andre.
God, yes.
Not only has ACEs, but
understands it. And I got to put it out here because one of the biggest things that we are not addressing is affecting our ACEs scores, like with the childhood sexual trauma. Is there, but it's 1 in 6 that like kind of like said for boys, but it's really more like 1 in 3, if not 1 in 2. But it's definitely more. And all of our trusting people, all our trusting family members, and all those are the ones that are doing things. So we got to make sure that we are watching everything to keep our ACEs down. We are responsible for our kids. My father didn't know my 26-year-old cousin was molesting me. And nobody in my family knows to this day. I've never shared it.
Come on. Come on.
But
Because
it
we
was happening and
conversation.
I was 6.
Mm-hmm. 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 And we're not having these conversations. We're scared.
No,
And I get it. We don't want to hurt the cousin. We don't
right,
want to hurt the cousin.
right, right.
However, cousin, you wrong.
You're
Wrong is
wrong.
wrong. Wrong is two
But
left shoes. Wrong, wrong, wrong. And
yeah.
guess what? I'm glad that you did something about it.
Mhm.
Because again, you didn't have to do that. But I'm glad that you did. That lets everybody know that you're just like us. We understand
Right,
our aces and we are doing something about it.
right. Because I
So
know
yeah.
how that impacts me. I know how I show up because of it. So I have to guard how I show up. I have to know when I'm being what's called having a trauma response,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You have trauma responses when you want to be the caretaker. You want to always be in control. You want to always make sure everybody's okay. Neglect yourself, your own needs, as long as everybody else is okay. You are in protection mode because you can control the narrative when you're doing all that. If you're in control, nobody can get to you.
Mm-hmm.
You're safe that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's a trauma response.
You're right.
So people show up in certain ways and don't realize, oh, that's because of this.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
Either
Ooh.
I'm way too affectionate, or somebody that's not affectionate at all.
Mm-hmm.
Trauma responses.
Yep. Oh, that's a good one, y'all. I told you, Mr. Charlie was going to bring it. And he did. So before we end,
Yes.
what would you like to leave our listeners and the people watching with?
Understand that you are not alone. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. We want to bring mental health awareness to everybody, understanding that there are people here. It is a safe environment for you to talk to, for you to have somebody for you to be able to confide in, or somebody that, especially for the guys, they just need to sometimes vent and kick it in a way that they cannot do in any other area. You may do that at the gym, you may do that at the bar, you may do that at the barbershop, but those are people that have a lot of opinions that are based on their own experience, which is filled with trauma as well. So maybe give somebody a shot that can kind of balance that out, because there's some things that are being said even on social media that are not accurate. And a
Mhm.
lot of people that are not trained therapists saying things that they believe out of their own feelings, but
Mhm.
have not been trained in any area and nowhere near nobody's license.
Mhm.
So give those things a thought. Black male therapists are available for you. And in fact, if you just have to share or want to talk or find some resources, hit me up. I can be found at Affecting Change Charlie on Instagram. And also, the link for the conference, I would like to say, is on that page, as well as on Eventbrite, as Manifest, exploring the identity, the struggle, and the power for July 12th and 13th. I need everyone to come out, especially if you're in the Metro Detroit area, but it's open to everybody.
Mhm.
Here
How
to a men and women that support them.
Absolutely, because we need to see it. And there is power in the fact that you're going to have all of these wonderful people that are going to show up. I can feel it in my spirit. I already know. So, yeah,
Amen.
I did
Amen.
it, you guys. I found another good one for you all. And I'm telling you, this
I'm
episode
honored.
was amazing. You all know where to find me. I'm everywhere, Dr. Victorious. Y'all know. I create victory in people by understanding ACEs. So that's where Dr. Victorious came from. My nickname is Torie, by the way. So Victorious, ain't that cute? I know. I didn't come up with it. It was actually given to me. So this is why I do it. This is my purpose. I know why I'm here by the grace of God, continuing to fulfill this purpose of understanding ACEs. So find us, you guys. Look us up. You will see us collaborating. You will see us doing more. And if you have any questions or concerns, concerns, you know where to find us. Thank you guys again for another good episode of Be Victorious. Bye bye.
All right, guys. Thank you.